Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a look outside our weather window. And boy, what a difference a day makes. Lots of clouds out there today. We did see a few of those yesterday too, but more clouds today as we look down at this beautiful shot looking back right in the middle of your screen there, Rocky Reach Dam. And this is our camera, our PTZ camera from Omi Gardens, kind of facing the other way this time. Usually we have it looking down at the Wenatchee Valley. This time up around Highway 97, and you can see some clouds out there and cool temperatures today. No wind today, but wait until we get into Friday. It looks like a very windy day. We could see gusts 25 to 30 miles an hour, and even into Friday night now. The Weather Service updated the forecast to let us know that there could be 30-mile-an-hour gusts tomorrow night as well. So get ready for kind of a clear, sunny, windy day tomorrow. So even blustery, as some weather people might put it, but that's what we'll see for Friday, and we'll talk much more about your weekend ahead. And boy, are we going to get warm next week. We'll talk about that as well coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Confluence Health says it's detected the first known case of coronavirus among staff members. Confluence Health care workers in Wenatchee say they're overwhelmed with gratitude for donations of personal protective equipment sent by the community. And the city of Wenatchee, saying it's following the advice of its insurance provider, decided Wednesday to close off the play equipment, basketball courts, and picnic areas in all city parks. But first, we begin tonight. Another person from Quincy was confirmed to have tested positive for COVID-19 Wednesday. That brings that city's cases to 36. The town of about 7,500 people is more than half of Grant County's cases and far more than Chelan, Douglas, and Okanagan counties combined. Quincy also had Eastern Washington's first positive result for the virus back on March 4th, with that man in his 80s dying 3 days later at Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. Grant County Health District Administrator Teresa Atkinson says that first patient, a frequent visitor at the senior center, had not traveled recently or been in contact with someone who had.
And so from our very first case, we consider that one community spread. Our first case did not have interactions outside of our community, so somehow it got introduced into the community and that individual got exposed. But based on our investigation, there's not a clear link to travel that individual had. That some individuals that are positive, they're recovering at home, and there's no hospitalization needed. We had 7 people hospitalized. We had our first patient get released and is at home recovering. And actually, I take that back. We've had 2 patients that have been discharged and recovered at home. But we still have several of our hospitalized patients that are on ventilators and fighting for their lives. And that weighs heavy on our hearts and our healthcare system because it can be a vicious bug, and it can attack the younger population. We're seeing it in our working age range. I think we're doing a better job of caring for our elders. Our case count in our elder population isn't going up as quickly as it is in the 30 to 50 age range.
Frontline healthcare workers have always been at risk of contracting the coronavirus. Now, Confluence Health says it's detected the first known case among staff members. The infected worker lives in Grant County but works in a Chelan County facility. The person is not an inpatient care provider, and Confluence says it does not believe the worker contracted the virus from a patient. The worker is now in home isolation. Confluence says it believes the risk of patients exposed to the virus by contact with its staff member is low. Well, speaking of Confluence Healthcare, Confluence Care workers in Wenatchee say they're overwhelmed with gratitude for donations of personal protective equipment sent by the community. Disposable gloves, N95 masks, and homemade masks have poured in through a program established by the hospital group's nonprofit foundation. You can still contribute your own donations and learn how to make a protective face mask at home using resources on Confluence's website. Well, the city of Wenatchee saying it's following the advice of its insurance provider, decided on Wednesday to close off the play equipment, basketball courts, and picnic areas in city parks. Earlier, the Wenatchee School District and Chelan County PUD shut down access to its play areas in an effort to slow the spread of the coronavirus. Well, coming up next, among the court proceedings delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the case of Theron Heidemann, a Peshastin man accused of 14 child sex abuse charges that stretch back almost 20 years. Okanagan County made a big mistake when it auctioned off a Brewster mobile home in a tax sale 3 years ago. A new police officer in Soap Lake was being shown the town's new citywide camera system this week when an ATV being driven by a man with no helmet was seen leaving a residence. And housing aid is a key component of the federal COVID-19 stimulus. And today, Senator Maria Cantwell said North Central Washington is in line for some of those grants. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation eco-diesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. Two more reasons when it comes to buying a truck: there's no reason to leave town.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Welcome back. In another news, among the court proceedings delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the case of Theron Heidemann, a Peshastin man accused of 14 child sexual abuse charges stretching back almost 20 years. Heidemann, who's 53, was set to go on trial at the end of this month, but on Wednesday, a Chelan County judge said that's unlikely to happen with the statewide stay-at-home order restricting the availability of people to serve on a jury. Heidemann has been in jail for 3 years now, ever since 4 alleged victims began giving statements to police. Attorneys say they'll decide how to proceed at another court hearing scheduled for Monday. Okanagan County made a big mistake when it auctioned off a Brewster mobile home in a tax sale 3 years ago. That's the findings of the State Court of Appeals, which says the $21,000 sale wasn't legal because the county sent a notice of foreclosure to a bank at the wrong address and never corrected the error before seizing the property from one family and then selling it to another. The appellate courts now says the foreclosure must be vacated, meaning the family that purchased the property no longer owns it outright. The court said the county, the bank, the buyers, they should all try to negotiate a reasonable settlement. Well, a new police officer in Soap Lake was being shown the town's new citywide camera system this week when an ATV being driven by a man with no helmet was seen leaving a residence. An officer was dispatched to tell the rider of a new municipal code that requires helmets, but it turned out the ATV had been stolen in Ritzville. The driver quickly told the officer where he'd obtained the vehicle, and a suspect is now being sought. Soap Lake installed the 10 surveillance cameras throughout the city back in 2017. Well, housing aid and is a key component of the federal COVID-19 stimulus. And today, Senator Maria Cantwell said North Central Washington is in line for some of those funds. Community development block grants to the area total almost $84,000 for East Wenatchee and $139,000 for Wenatchee. The grants must go toward critical housing programs approved by U.S. Housing and Urban Development. As the state's largest cities, Seattle and Spokane got the lion's share of the $52 million total awarded in the state of Washington. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
When it comes to finding a memory care community, you want the very best. You want to know that your loved one is safe and receiving compassionate care in a loving environment. Fieldstone Memory Care is an innovative assisted living community designed for those with Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's disease. You'll find a community specifically designed to enrich residents' lives. The Fieldstone team is here to help you navigate the important decisions you face when a loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's. Welcome home to Fieldstone.
This is Caitlin Hedershe, the producer of the NCWLIFE magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCWLIFE magazine right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Town Toyota Center, the Wenatchee Valley's biggest gathering place, is now its central point each Wednesday for food distribution to those in need. In tonight's feature story, NCWLIFE's Rachel Mandelas visited the event yesterday and spoke with one of the coordinators.
The previous week, we did 452, and this week we did, just shy of 300. We are, working with the Community Action Council, who is really a huge story in this whole food insecurity in our community. The Community Action Council has set up their assembly and distribution center here at the Town Toyota Center, and they're doing over 3,000 boxes a week that they're putting together throughout the two-county area. And so we did receive boxes from them, and then we also added and supplemented our donations that come in and our supply chains that we were able to add to that. So we had about 10 volunteers. 13, because we had 3 out in the parking lot. And so we had 3 that were out in the parking lot that were kind of directing traffic, and then we had 4 out that were putting boxes in cars, and then the rest were doing the assembly on the inside and getting them out to the cars. Our food bank, by the way, was a drive-through, and so people did not need to get out of their cars. They just popped the hatch in the back, and we dropped those in. And so we've had as many as 70 volunteers that have signed up this week. They're not all here at the same time. We limit that to 10 volunteers in the space at any given time, but that's a lot, actually, for now. We definitely see an increased need. The numbers that we talked about today that Community Action Council typically does, somewhere around 10,000, 10,500 boxes in our two-county area a month, and anticipate that going up close to 13,000. There's folks that are coming to the food bank now that have never gone to a food bank. You've got layoffs of folks that have had the resources personally to be able to to be food secure, and now with the layoffs coming and there is a significant increase in that need, yes. But I really believe that this community is ahead of the curve in terms of responding, with partners like the Town Toyota Center and Link adjusting their route to help folks that don't have wheels to get to the food bank, have an opportunity to get the food that they need. And I think the biggest story is that we are responding compassionately while maintaining a level of safety, for that we all need to be practicing right now.
And time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. And as always, before we get to those details, let's take a look outside our weather window. And it was a little bit unstable out there today, and we did see some clouds, some shower activity. And this was a shot from this afternoon outside from the Wenatchee Heights Sky-Fi Tower camera. That's what we call the cross camera. It gives us these beautiful views of the Wenatchee Valley. You can see just a little bit of virga. That's the precipitation that comes out of the sky that doesn't quite reach the ground, and that's called virga. We did see a little bit of that today, and that's a pretty common spring type weather phenomenon, and we'll see more of that as the spring rolls along. High temperatures today, boy, they weren't very high, that's for sure. In fact, 11 degrees unofficially below where we should be for this time of year at 48 today. 59 is where we should be. That's our normal high for this time of year. 28 is where we started. 39 is also our normal low temperature, so 11 degrees below that too. 78, our record high, that was set back in 1992. What a beautiful day. And our record low, not too bad, 30 degrees. And we were very close to that the day before. This was actually yesterday. Today's 30 degrees, so we'll see tonight if we do break a record low temperature. Sunrise, 6:36 this morning, and the sunset tonight will be at 7:33. Let's take a look outside and see what we can expect as we get into our Friday weather forecast. And we're going to be even a little bit cooler for our Friday weather as an area of low pressure moves through, and that'll suck some of that northerly flow our way and bring some colder air into north central Washington. 50 for Moses Lake and Ephrata, mid to upper 40s Wenatchee and Quincy, mid 40s in Kashmir, also Eniat and Chelan. You folks in Omak, your high tomorrow will be once again at 46 degrees. As we take a look at our surface loop, we're going to get some nice weather by the time we get into next week. We'll show you that in a second. But this is our overall weather pattern. Low pressure right now over us. That's bringing some scattered clouds and showers. A high pressure area will move in. That will be for late tomorrow into Saturday. And then this area of high pressure will really move in, and it will park itself right here in the Pacific. And that's going to bring us temperatures about 25 degrees. That's right, 25 degrees warmer than today as we get into next week. But we'll begin with tonight first and show you how we're going to get there first. Tonight we'll expect mostly clear skies. It will be cool out there with those clear skies, so we could see record low temperatures overnight tonight with low pressure, as I just showed you, right in southern British Columbia, and that's dragging that cold air right back at us. By Friday, get ready for a windy day. We could see northwest winds steady between 10 and 20 miles an hour, gusts of 25 miles an hour to 30 definitely possible, and cold air still over most of Washington state. Many of us won't even see 45 degrees for highs on Friday, but Saturday things get a little bit better. Even though we'll be mostly cloudy, we'll begin to see a more westerly flow, which will bring us a little bit warmer weather as we get into the weekend. Sunday, cloudy skies, a 20% chance for just very scattered showers. You can see a few showers right here in central Washington, but look at that, warmer as that huge area of high pressure I showed you at the start of weather. Here it is, making itself known now by the time we get into Monday. Mostly sunny skies, and that will be the start of a major warming trend as we get through the first part of next week. Already temperatures in the upper 60s to near 70 in the Tri-Cities. We will be pushing 70 degrees on Tuesday, unseasonably warm. Remember, our normal high is about 59 for this time of year, and Wednesday looks to be our warmest day of the forecast. Partly cloudy. You're seeing it right. Temperatures in the 70s. Our forecast high for Wednesday, right around 72 degrees. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast. Tonight, as I mentioned, possible record lows. 29 our overnight low, 47 and windy for your Friday, and 29 once again for a low. And then things begin to moderate a little bit beginning Saturday. Mostly cloudy and 53. A scattered shower not out of the question on Sunday and 60 degrees. And then look at that warm up. 64 Monday, 60 67 on Tuesday, partly cloudy and all the way up to 71 as we get into midweek Wednesday next week. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it on the radio or seeing it in the newspaper, I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Thursday to you. Staying home and staying healthy. I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Here's a look at sports news. The Seattle Seahawks have agreed to a one-year deal with defensive end Benson Mayowa. That's according to his agency. That signing happened yesterday. It's a one-year deal at $3 million guaranteed. That's according to Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network. It's somewhat of a homecoming for Mayowa, who played in Seattle as an undrafted free agent out of college in 2013. He played for the Cowboys and Cardinals and had a couple of stints with the Raiders, where he most recently played in 2019, where he had a career-high 7 sacks and 3 forced fumbles. Mayowa's signing leaves Seattle with just under $15 million available in cap space, and with Jadeveon Clowney seeking $17 to $18 million now, the Seahawks would have to make some more room in order to swing that deal. Clowney's also being sought after by the Tennessee Titans and the New York Jets. Well, the NFL is marching ahead with plans to be as normal as possible with the pandemic going on. And as the NFL marches forward, the league's 32 teams had a conference call on Tuesday where the NFL said it planned to go ahead with the regular season starting the weekend after Labor Day weekend in September. The 16-game schedule will also include stops in London and Mexico City. In the near future, the NFL draft will be conducted April 23rd through the 25th. Teams are preparing for a different approach to the draft, where the possibility of a maximum of 10 personnel gathered in remote locations. In addition, prospective high draft picks will not get their photo op with Commissioner Goodell with the jersey of the team that selected him. The Seahawks have the 27th pick in this year's NFL draft. Of course, General Manager John Schneider has been famous or infamous, whichever your perspective, on trading away that first-round pick and has done so the past 8 seasons in a row. Well, hunting and fishing enthusiasts in Washington are waiting on word of what else might be shut down or canceled this spring. Fishing was put on hold by the State Department of Fish and Wildlife through at least next week. The spring barrier season was postponed and the youth turkey season was canceled. That was supposed to go on this weekend. With the rate of the pandemic in Washington and Governor Inslee's recommendations, most hunters and fishermen are expecting the closures and cancellations to continue. Kelly Susewin is the director of the Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Over the last several days, I've had to make the toughest decisions of my career. Decisions to close access to public opportunities and public resources that our agency works so hard to provide. I don't take these decisions lightly. Our customers are incredibly important to us, and we know the imposition these closures bring. But still, we ask your cooperation. The coronavirus situation in our state is serious, and it's only going to get worse. We make these decisions to protect you and the communities across Washington state. There are literally lives at stake. I don't know when we'll be through this, but know we're in it together, and know that I'm committed to working with you now and after we pass the crisis, Until then, I hope you'll bear with us, and I hope you'll stay safe. Thank you.
Sue Swin and the Department of Fish and Wildlife are meeting again on Monday to reevaluate the situation. Hanging in the balance is the start of the general spring turkey hunting season, which is set for April 15th, and the opening of the Lowland Lakes across the state April 25th. Well, we're featuring Wenatchee Wild Hockey tonight on the NCWLIFE channel. Tonight's game is from back around Thanksgiving when Wenatchee hosted the Langley Rivermen in BCHL play. Our checker had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
There's a right-handed shot, block, rebound, shot, score. Tristan Frazier finishes it off. Hastings waits, looks, feeds it up top midpoint where it's played by Overland, and then back over on the near wall for Chorsky. Side of the net, Hastings walks out in front, backhander by Adams, and he scores! Power play goal for the Wild, and they've knotted it up at 1. Tied at 1. Rivermen win the draw, and they'll feed it ahead. Backhanded across left side, in, shot, and a score. Caden Patrick took the shot from the left circle, bounces into the corner, lobbed ahead, gloved and held in the zone by Overland. His shot, and he scores! Jared Overland with his first goal of the year. Lilly to Hastings. Hastings gains the zone. Rister shoots, and he scores! Oh, from the top of the left circle. Hunter Hastings pulled the trigger.
So did the Wild hang on to win that one? Well, you're going to have to watch and see tonight, 7 o'clock, here on Hockey Night on the NCWLIFE channel. Coming up tomorrow, it's Big Nine Soccer, where Eastmont takes on Sunnyside. That's at 7 o'clock. And I got a little ahead of myself for the upcoming weekend. I switched up Saturday and Sunday. So here's what's coming up on Saturday at 2 o'clock. It's Eastmont and Wenatchee Soccer at 2. And that'll be followed by Penticton and Wenatchee Wild Hockey at 7 o'clock Saturday night. Then on Sunday, we've got Lacrosse, Sela, and Wenatchee Valley Thunder at 2 o'clock, and that'll be followed by the Wenatchee Wild and Salmon Arm Silverbacks at 7 o'clock. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And the Moses Lake Police Department said they'd like to share some good news as we leave you tonight. K-9 Chief is rapidly returning to his normal self with the assistance of his adopted sister, Zoe. The police dog was shot in the eye February 28th as he and Officer Nick Stewart were pursuing a suspect wanted in several robberies. Stewart then shot and killed 22-year-old Jose L. Rivera, who also was a person of interest in 2 drive-by shootings. Chief was treated at Washington State University Veterinary Clinic in Pullman and then returned March 4th to a hero's welcome in Moses Lake. It's hoped he will have the soft muzzle he's been wearing for his broken jaw removed during a trip to the vet later this month. And congratulations and best wishes to Chief. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. You know, here at the NCWLIFE channel, we're practicing social distancing and physical distancing. So all the interviews that we've been conducting over the last couple of weeks have been via Skype. So we don't have to have 2 people close together in close proximity in the same studio. So to that end, on tomorrow's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I will be Skyping with myself. No, I won't. I'll have the news, I'll have the weather, I'll have everything you need to get your weekend going, all right? Join me on Friday mornings, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live at 7 a.m. from this very studio. Grant, back to you.
Thanks, Dan. Call me up. I'll Skype with you in the morning. And that's going to do it for, no, I won't. That's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a safe and great night. Interesting video you'd like to see featured here on the NCWLIFE channel? It's easy. All you have to do is send us an email at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.
The
NCW Life Channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's Learn, Guada TV, Street Talk and Other Stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life Channel is your local TV station.